Hello guys, what's up? So this is the second tutorial on Eagle based PCB design. So in the first tutorial I had explained you this basic window which opens up as soon as you double click your Eagle program. So now let us start the tutorials. So in our first tutorial we already made this folder, and you can see here this green mark. So this green mark means that this folder is active. As soon as you remove the green mark, you will not be able to create any project out of it. So you need to make sure that this green mark is on. So as soon as this green mark gets on, so we can then start our first schematics. So let us start the schematics. Now this is the basic window of your schematics. In order to start with your schematics, first of all you need to add some components. So in order to add your components, you just click this tab. You see all your components over here. Sometimes it is observed that these components may not be present over here because of some improper installation or whatever may be the reason. So how do we bring these components over here? So just go to library, say use, and then go into this Eagle folder. Inside this Eagle folder there is this LBR folder. In this LBR folder you just select all of this. You can say Control A and then say open. As soon as you say open, it is all updated in this place. Okay, so whenever you create your personal library, we'll be discussing about how to create that in future. So as soon as you create your personal library, again you go to library, say use, and then you send your personal library into this place, and from here you can then select. Okay, so this is your first tool which you will be requiring. Now the second tool is your wires. So these lines act as your wires. So let us make one basic design. So suppose there is a resistor, so you can use your shortcut keys. So if I press R, it will automatically go into resistors, or if I quickly write resist, so it will enter into resistors. So let us select. Now you can see here that there are number of varieties of resistors available. So you need to select your resistor as per your requirement. So let us say I want to select a simple resistor. Okay, let us select any one. Let's take this one. So I would place it over here, and let's say I'm placing it over here and here and here. Let's say I want to make some kind of, okay, let's make a simple potential divider. You can press Ctrl Z if you want to delete your file, or just like going back into your previous state. Okay, now I want to connect these two wires. So simply I go to wire. I can, okay, in order to zoom in and zoom out, you can use the center button of your mouse, and it's highly recommended that you use a separate mouse and not your mouse pad on your laptop, because it is very difficult in order to use this mouse pad or trackpad or whatever you say in order to make such type of PCBs. So you realize that as soon as you start making some complex PCBs, so it's always better to use mouse. So by using the center button of a mouse, just we can zoom in and zoom out. Okay, and one more thing is that do not play with the resolution in schematics, because if you play with the resolution, yeah, it may so happen that these nets may not be connected. So basically when you connect this wire, it creates a net list. So that net list contains all the connections. Now I always want to be sure that these 2 points are connected, so it's always recommended that you insert these junctions in all the connections. So suppose these two are my connections, I would assure it that I place a junction, though it's not so necessary provided you have done all the things correctly. Okay, now in order to get away from this state, now I need a VDD and ground for a potential divider. So let's say I want VDD, so VDD comes under supply. So I'll write supply, SUP, So it comes to supply. So let's select 5 volt. So that 5 volt comes over here. Press escape, then go to ground. So let's say this ground. Okay, so I click it over here. I can press escape. As soon as I press escape, it will go back to its previous state. Again I press escape, it comes back to the screen. Now as usual, let's make the wire. So if you don't double click, you need to double click as soon as you reach to the end of the junction, otherwise the wire would continue to move. Just like if I just do a single click, the wire would be moving, so I'll have to double click over here. So sometimes that also doesn't work, then in that case you simply press escape. Okay, now again I always recommend you to place junctions in these points, because I always want to be sure that these points are connected. Placing a junction means that they are 100% connected. Now I want to show my output, and that for that output I just want a connector over here. So let us take a connector. So in order to take a connector, what I would say con. So that con would be generally I prefer to take this type of connectors because these are the male female connectors which are easily available in market. So I want one VDD and one ground. So let's take this. Again I'll be connecting this to this point, and this one would be connected to ground. Now I can either connect it over here, or I can use I can simply right click this, I can copy this, and I can place one more ground. So in that way what does it do is that both are the same thing. So it asks that do you want to merge it into ground, so you can say yes, press escape, it comes out to its previous state. Now always I recommend you to place the junctions. Okay, so with this the circuit is now ready. So I have my VDD, I have my ground, I have my two resistors, and I have my output. And yes, so this supply voltage and ground I would be giving maybe externally, so I would be needing one more connector for VDD and ground. So what I would do, I would take this again, as I said, I'll be simply connecting this over here and then placing it over here, and ground I'll be taking it and placing it over here. Okay, so as soon as I do that, I'll be connecting this and placing the junctions. Yes, so now you observe that this plus 5 is looking weird, right? So what we need to do, we need to bring this plus 5. So by clicking this button smash, so what does it do is it smashes this particular symbol into two different parts, that is name as well as this component. So after clicking this, I'll be clicking over here, so it creates an arrow over here. So what I can do is I can now just click this. First of all I click this is a move symbol. I click this, I bring it over here. So by doing right click I can do rotations. So that's the beauty of using a mouse rather than trackpad, because you have three buttons over here and you can fully explore it. So I think we are almost done. We have the connectors for VDD and ground, we have the connectors for output, we have the two resistors, and of course you can even right click and say value, and you can say okay, let's make 10k. So 10k means 10 kilo ohms, and this one let's say this as again 10k. So 10k 10k, that means it would create a 2.5 volt output. So our circuit is ready to be converted into its layout. So that's it for this second tutorial. Thank you.